بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. This is Fahad Shehri. Our book is Traveler 2. Our module for today is for lesson B, cultural differences. So our skill for today is reading. So the thing that I want you to do to understand, to read it with the skills of reading, like skim or scan. Skimming just to get the general information or the general idea. Scanning to look for a specific information, like if you have questions and you look for the answers. In this lesson today, our objectives, our goals for today, for this class, talk about customs from different countries. So like from Saudi Arabia, from US, from other, and then we have the cultural differences. Look at these pictures. This is about the culture. These are some examples about the culture in Saudi Arabia. These are some customs in Saudi Arabia, like drinking coffee, gathering with the family and with other people and eat together. And this is our like clothes for the traditional thobe and shimag, and you can see the coffee as well. So these just are some examples. Discuss on your book page number 50. You will find these two questions. So think of gestures or customs that exist in your country. Gestures like, like when you move your hands, when you say like hi or other things, and customs like what to wear, your food, and etc. So in Saudi Arabia national dance, which we call it al-arda. You can see it here in the picture. Eating food using bare hands. This is just like in some Arab countries and in Saudi Arabia specifically, like this. Sometimes people, they don't use a spoon or fork to eat. They just use their right hand. Our last question for discussion today, do you think they are the same everywhere around the world? So the same, it's like in let's say United States and UK, they do the same things here in Saudi Arabia or in other countries. Well, it's not, of course, because people, they are not the same around the world. Now we'll move to the book. So open your book, page number 50. We have this question B. Guess the answers to the questions below. Then read and check your answers. So to guess something you are not sure about, you are not sure 100% about the answers. So I want you to take a look at these three questions and try to guess the answers for them. Like for example, the first one, how do Saudis perfume? Perfume, it's like when you make things smell good. Their houses and clothes. They burn something. They light candles. What's a common way for people in Belgium? In Belgium, it's a country in Europe. To greet each other, to say hi, to greet each other. What is their way? And number 3, what does pulling the skin down under your eye mean in Japan? Like this, when you pull the skin under your eye, something is boring or something is interesting. So take a minute, think about this, and then we will guess and get the answers. Now let's see. For the first question, they burn something. When you burn something, you put it on fire. when you burn something, you put it on fire. What is a common way, like most people they do it in Belgium, to greet each other, to say hi, to greet each other. They kiss 3 times on the cheek. These two, we have 2 cheeks, or they shake hands. Shaking hands, it's I think all over the world. You can see it in different countries, but maybe this one is just common in Belgium. Number 3, what does pulling the skin down? What I told you before, when you do that, something is boring in Japan, or something is interesting. So it's something is boring. Now we will move to the article. So please, first listen carefully and try to follow the speaker.
4B. Cultural differences. 1. Reading.
They do it differently. We know what feels normal and right to do in our culture, but other cultures have customs and gestures that are different, and they may seem strange to us. So, it's easy to misunderstand someone from a culture that is different from our own. Here are a few examples.
While I was in Saudi Arabia on a business trip, I was invited to a Saudi friend's house for lunch. It was the first time I had been to a Saudi house, and I was impressed by the spectacular decoration. At lunchtime, my friend, Ibrahim, showed me into the dining room, where I met his 4 sons. The boys were talking cheerfully about their day when a man came in the room, silently carrying a beautiful cup with something burning in it. I was curious about it. I was about to ask Ibrahim to tell me more about it when a wonderful smell interrupted my thoughts. Ibrahim explained that it is a custom in Saudi Arabia to burn bakur, a kind of scented wood, to create a pleasant atmosphere. It is also polite to use bakur when you have guests. John, Boston.
I'm from Wisconsin, and when we meet someone for the first time, we usually shake hands. Well, I had a big surprise in Belgium. When I was introduced to my friend's brother, something occurred which made me feel uncomfortable. I said hi to him, extending my hand, and he came up to me and kissed me on the cheek. Not once, but 3 times, going from one cheek to the other. Of course, I went red and they started laughing at me. In Belgium, it's common to greet someone by kissing 3 times. Jack, Madison.
Last year I was invited to Japan by my friend Daiki. On the second day of my visit, Daiki asked me if I wanted to go to his house for dinner, and of course I said yes. It was really enjoyable, but halfway through the night I got something in my eye. So I tried to remove it with my finger. Daiki's brother saw me and he got really upset. I couldn't understand why though. I asked Daiki why his brother was angry with me, and he told me that in Japan when you pull the skin down under your eye, it shows that you find something boring. Later in the evening, I apologized to Daiki's brother and tried to clear up the misunderstanding, but I'm not sure he believed me. Peter, Miami.
So let's get back to the article. Here we have 3 people who are talking about their experience and culture. The first thing that we should know, what is the meaning of culture? Culture is the way of wearing things, of eating, of the food for a specific society. It's different from society to another society. Like in Saudi Arabia, in Netherlands, in Canada, and etc. Cultural differences, because it's different, or there is like a difference between one country and another country. Like other countries, they will not wear thobe or shimag, for example. They do it differently. This is the title of our article. That means like it's not the same. Culture is not the same from one country to another. We know what feels normal and right to do in our culture. So if we do something that is in common in Saudi Arabia, no one will look at you in weird way. But other cultures have customs and gestures that are different, and they may seem strange. That people will look at you and see it like it's not a normal thing to do. So it's easy to misunderstand. Misunderstand when you understand someone in wrong way, not in the right way. From a culture that is different from our own, different from like Saudi cultures, for example. Here are a few examples. So we have three examples. For the first one, John from Boston. While I was in Saudi Arabia on a business trip, it's like a work trip. Like he go to Saudi Arabia for a work, not for pleasure. I was invited to a Saudi friends. Invited when someone asks you to come to his house for lunch. Not always like in his house, maybe sometimes out in a restaurant or something like that. So it was the first time I had been to Saudi house. This is the first time ever. And I was impressed by the spectacular decoration. Impressed like something amazing. Impressed like when you like something, and spectacular, it's something amazing. At lunchtime, when they go to eat, or when they went to eat, my friend Ibrahim showed me into the dining room. The dining room, it's the room for eating, where I met his 4 sons. The boys were talking cheerfully like full of joy about their day when a man came in the room silently. So please pay attention for the highlighted words, because we will get to the question which asks about the meaning. Carrying a beautiful cup, silently like with no sound. Carrying a beautiful cup with something burning in it, burning something on fire in this cup. I was curious about it, like I want to know what is that. I was about to ask Ibrahim to tell me more about it when a wonderful smell interrupted my thoughts. He was about like 1 second behind to ask about this thing, and something interrupted his thoughts. Interrupted like when you doing something and another thing come and stop you from doing it. Ibrahim explained that it's a custom in Saudi Arabia to burn bukhur. So this was a bukhur, a kind of scented wood like with a good smell, a wood with good smell, to create a pleasant atmosphere, a pleasant like a nice atmosphere in the room maybe, or in the area. It's also polite to use bukhur when you have guests. It's a good way to bring it to your guests. So this is the first experience. The second one is Jack from Madison. Here he said, I am from Wisconsin. Wisconsin, it's the state, and Madison is the city, and the city is smaller than the state. The state is bigger. And when we meet someone for the first time, the first time they meet each other, we usually shake hands. We usually shake hands. Well, I had a big surprise in Belgium. He was shocked in Belgium. And Belgium is a country in Europe. When I was introduced to my friend's brother, introduced like when you met someone and another one tell you about talk about another person. So when I was met to my friend's brother, something occurred, something happened, because this is in past, which made me feel uncomfortable. So I was like I didn't like that thing. I said hi to him, extending my hand, like when you extend something, like his hand, he was maybe like this, and then he extended to shake hands. And he came up to me and kissed me on the cheek, not once but 3 times. So the other person came to him and like check or kiss him on the cheek for three times. So maybe like 1, 2, and 3. Of course, I went red because he was embarrassed. So he went red. He didn't like that situation. And they started laughing at me. Like others, they started laughing at him because he didn't know about this custom in Belgium. It's common to greet someone by kissing 3 times. So this is common in Belgium. they do it regularly without any problem. This is about Jack Madison. Here the last one is Peter from Miami. Last year I was invited to Japan by my friend Daike. His friend asked him to visit Japan. On the second day of my visit, Daike asked me if I wanted to go to his house for dinner. So he asked him or invited him to come to his house in Japan. And of course I said yes. So he didn't refuse. He just went for it. It was really enjoyable. So he had fun. But halfway through the night, in the middle of the night, I got something on my eye. Something got inside his eye. So I tried to remove it, to take it out from his eye. With my finger, with his finger. DK's brother saw me and he got really upset. So the one who asked him to come, his brother saw him and he got angry. He got mad or angry. I couldn't understand why though. He didn't know why his brother is angry or mad. I asked DK why his brother was angry with me, and he told me that in Japan, when you pull the skin down under your eye, it shows that you find something boring. So because he was want to remove something, and the DK brothers saw him, so he thought that maybe his speaking or his story was boring. He didn't like it. Later in the evening, I apologized to DK brother and tried to clear up, to explain why I did that. It wasn't about what you said. It's about something else was in my eye. But I'm not sure he believed me. Maybe he thought that he's a liar or something. So this is Peter from Miami. Look at the highlighted words again, because we will have question asking about the meaning. Now we have these questions. So for the questions, you have to use the scan skill. You have to look for the answers in the previous articles. For the first and the second questions, you will find it in the first story, the third and the fourth in the second story, the fifth and sixth in the third story. So I will give you about 2 minutes to think about this and try to answer it with short answers. Now let's take the answers. Do you want to show up? Okay. So why did they use bukhur in Ibrahim's house? What is the reason behind that? Because it's a custom in Saudi Arabia to burn to create a pleasant atmosphere, as we said before. A good and nice smell around the room or around the area. It's also polite to use bukhur when you have guests. It's a good way to welcome others when you use it. How did John first react when he saw bukhur burning? He was curious about it. He wanted to know what is that. So it's all about the curiosity. Why did Jack extend his hand? When he extended his hand, when he moved his hand to say hi. How did Jack feel when the man kissed him? When the man kissed him three times on the cheek. He felt uncomfortable. He went red. He didn't like this because maybe in his country they don't do this. Why did Peter pull the skin down under his eye when he did that? because he got something on his eye. He got something maybe inside his eye and he wanted to remove it, to take it out. What did Peter do after the misunderstanding? When the DK's brother saw him, what did he do after that? After he asked his friend, he apologized. Apologized when you say sorry to DK's brother and try to explain why I did that. What is the reason? The last thing for today, it's about the highlighted words, which I asked you to focus on them and the text. So try to guess the meaning of this. Silently, was about to, awkward, remove, clear up. So try, I'll give you some time to think about it. For the first one, silently, without, of course, without speaking, was about to, he was ready to, awkward, when something happened. Remove, when you remove something, you take it out. Clear up, because he wanted to clear up for his friend's brother. So it's explain, when you explain things. These are the meanings of these highlighted words. Now we'll get back to the text. We will listen to it for one more time.
B. Cultural differences. 1. Reading.
Before we listen to that, it's really important to listen. Why? Because you will improve your language, your English language, by listening first, and then you can read correctly. So please pay attention and listen carefully.
We do it differently. We know what feels normal and right to do in our culture, but other cultures have customs and gestures that are different, and they may seem strange to us. So, it's easy to misunderstand someone from a culture that is different from our own. Here are a few examples.
While I was in Saudi Arabia on a business trip, I was invited to a Saudi friend's house for lunch. It was the first time I had been to a Saudi house, and I was impressed by the spectacular decoration. At lunchtime, my friend, Ibrahim, showed me into the dining room, where I met his 4 sons. The boys were talking cheerfully about their day when a man came in the room, silently carrying a beautiful cup with something burning in it. I was curious about it. I was about to ask Ibrahim to tell me more about it when a wonderful smell interrupted my thoughts. Ibrahim explained that it is a custom in Saudi Arabia to burn bakur, a kind of scented wood, to create a pleasant atmosphere. It is also polite to use bakur when you have guests. John, Boston.
I'm from Wisconsin, and when we meet someone for the first time, we usually shake hands. Well, I had a big surprise in Belgium. When I was introduced to my friend's brother, something occurred which made me feel uncomfortable. I said hi to him, extending my hand, and he came up to me and kissed me on the cheek. Not once, but 3 times, going from one cheek to the other. Of course, I went red and they started laughing at me. In Belgium, it's common to greet someone by kissing 3 times. Jack, Madison.
Last year I was invited to Japan by my friend Daiki. On the second day of my visit, Daiki asked me if I wanted to go to his house for dinner, and of course I said yes. It was really enjoyable, but halfway through the night I got something in my eye. So I tried to remove it with my finger. Daiki's brother saw me and he got really upset. I couldn't understand why though. I asked Daiki why his brother was angry with me, and he told me that in Japan when you pull the skin down under your eye, it shows that you find something boring. Later in the evening, I apologized to Daiki's brother and tried to clear up the misunderstanding, but I'm not sure he believed me. Peter, Miami.
This is all for today. I hope you got all the information that you need, and good luck and keep it up. Thank you for watching me.